Today, we're going to talk about lessons learned from 2018. Lesson number 3, we're going to talk about getting focused. Let's get focused here. This was the third lesson that I had learned, and I'll be honest with you, it kind of stings a little bit to tell you the truth that this is applicable to me as much as it is. I have, like, in addition to having kind of a borderline ADHD personality. I love being creative. I have a creative, expressive personality. I love chasing the bright, shiny objects. And it's easy for me to get sidetracked if I allow myself to. And that's very common in today's busy, crazy world for anybody, really. Even if you don't run your own business, you'll find you get pulled all kinds of directions, all different kinds of ways back and forth. If you're an entrepreneur, it can really get crazy. You've got to do your prospecting, your sales. You've got to do the work that you get paid for. You probably have social media and content creation and who knows any other amount of stuff that you need to focus on and pay attention to. So it can just be absolutely overwhelming at times, and it's easy to wind up spinning our wheels, and not really achieving anything that we want to achieve. Most of us could use kind of a crash course in focus. So the first thing that I'll say that I learned the hard way, let's control our environment when we're working on focus. When I'm working now, I make it a point not to go into my email. I have decided that I've spent far too much time in the past responding to emails that I really don't need to respond to. I also will turn off all the notifications on my phone. Life is difficult enough to focus on the things you need to without your phone constantly pinging and dinging and interrupting you. I know people who take their phone and put it into the other room, or who will take their phone off the hook. There's something to be said to just clearing your environment of any and all distractions, sitting down in a nice, clean, organized workspace, putting your head down and just going to work, and focusing on what you're going to accomplish, and then coming up for air and giving yourself a breather without having all of the other little environmental things going on in your world. So that's the first thing that I would mention to you. If you're working by yourself or for yourself, take a look at your environment. What kind of built-in distractions do you have? Another thing, I'll just tell you a quick story. I love the world of sports. I love entertainment. I like to binge watch things on Netflix. I've gotten into a couple of things recently. If you guys are binge watchers yourself and you'd like some interesting series, I highly recommend The Last Kingdom on Netflix. It's about the British King Alfred in the 800s when he's fighting Viking warriors. Very interesting series that has a lot of historically accurate storylines to it. That's fascinating. I also started watching, at the advice of a friend, I've watched the first couple seasons of Narcos, and I was totally hooked on that. If you like some of these, hit the like button, hit the love button, tell me what you think. Go ahead and type in your favorite thing that you like to binge watch and let us know. But bear in mind that has its time and its place. I tell you that because it's easy to get sucked in and to wind up just kind of binge watching all day when you probably shouldn't. Nothing wrong with taking a break now and then, especially if it's a scheduled, well thought out break. It's another thing if you just kind of get sucked in and wind up spinning your wheels and losing a whole day. I have a tendency to do that with sports. I have a tendency to do that with some of my favorite entertainment. I like to play certain games on my phone. Social media. I know people who will just spend hours just scrolling through social media, and when you ask them what they've done, they can't really say a whole lot. It's very, very easy to let your pleasures, your satisfactions in life get away from you. Learn to keep a focus on that. Really kind of schedule your downtime, schedule your entertainment, or at least be aware of what you're doing. That was one of the things that I had to come to grips with, is that I had to come to grips with the fact that I was prone, if I wasn't careful, to starting something and then just letting it carry away and then not engaging in productive activity, for far too long of a time. The last thing I'll say is learn to do some focus exercises to strengthen your focus and strengthen your imagination. I teach this in some of my classes, but I'll give you a quick hack, quick tip here on how to strengthen your power of focus. Sit down with a candle in your room, or even if you can go on. If you don't have a candle, you can go on your cell phone and get an app of a candle. Sit in a dark room without anything else. Light the candle and stare at it. And block everything else out of your mind except focusing on that candle. Study the color, the way it flickers, its shape. Don't let your thoughts wander to anything else. Just, I know it sounds kind of weird, it sounds kind of zen-like. Become one with the candle. Block out all your attention from everything except that little flickering candle. If you're like most people, you'll find out this is actually very difficult to do. It's not an easy thing to just block out all the distractions in your mind and tighten up your mind and focus on just that light in front of you. But as you practice this, if you do this on a regular basis, you will find that you will start to improve your ability to block out distractions and focus on a single task at hand. That's really important. Don't want to talk about it now for too much, but all the people who tell you that they're multitasking, they're lying to you. You can't actually multitask. Your brain doesn't work that way. Sorry to break it to you if you think you're a multitasker. You're not multitasking. Your brain can only focus on one thing at a time. It's just that you're doing it very, very quickly. You'd be far better off to pick one task, drill down ruthlessly on that, and then when you're done, give yourself a little break and move on to something else. Get out there. Have a fantastic week. We'll talk to you tomorrow. Remember, focus. See you guys. Take care. Peace.